Race war. Whose team are you on? Black people or white people?
Is there a race war? Did I miss it?
It is balloon!
So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea.
According to DOD, these balloons have motors and propellers, which means they weren't just floating through the air like a Lost Party balloon.
On Wednesday, when I was briefed on the balloon, I ordered the Pentagon to shoot it down on Wednesday as soon as possible. They decided, without doing damage to anyone on the ground, they decided that the best time to do that was as it got over water outside within the 12-mile limit. They successfully took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it, and we'll have more to report on this a little later. Thank you.
And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
It also encouraged the federal government to collect more data.
And community advocates to report these crimes.
We make it our business to know everything about everyone.
Who's we?
It's because they are very underreported.
All it does is...
Maybe the flag with the black spider on it makes people nervous.
All it does is...
And then community advocates to report these crimes.
Over the last 5 years, there's been a 25% increase in reported hate crimes. A hate crime not only harms the victim, but strikes fear into their entire community, our community. The FBI is committed to combating hate crime. This matters. Get yours inside now.
Hello?
Hi, welcome to Northrop Grumman. Are you ready? This is where we push the laws of physics. Always something new in here. This is where we're creating the future of connectivity. From the bottom of the ocean to the expanse of space. This is where we put massive power into the microscopic. That's the future of supercomputing. You want to see engineering imitating life? This is where we teach machines to go where humans can't. And this is where we engineer tomorrow's solutions in space. I love being up here. You see, the technology we make is what makes the impossible possible. And it doesn't stop there.
But I am also concerned about singling out China and the repercussions that it will have on the health and safety of Asian Americans here in the United States.
Jeffrey, this is one of the major red flags of the Democratic left. They say that worrying about our national security against the most authoritarian police state in the world, which is China, is going to be conflated with racism against Asian Americans. These are separate issues. It's a big issue. We can also fight China. We can defend against Chinese incursions, Chinese Communist Party incursions into the country. These are separate.
You know what this reminds me of? The Wuhan lab. Like, you could never talk about the Wuhan lab and the origins of virus because that's racist.
The most violent country in the world since 1950 has been the United States. It's been by far involved
Jeffrey,
in
stop now.
I like Jeffrey. Everywhere he goes, they shut him down eventually. Now,
White supremacy is a poison. It's a poison running through it. It really is.
From the Bronx, 2 young children, one just 11 months old, the other 3 years old, are dead this afternoon.
Number 2.
Police say the 2 boys were stabbed to death last night. Their mother, now in police custody.
The idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick.
Police say a man approached the victim asking for a cigarette before trying to take the bag. When he fought back, the victim was stabbed in the chest.
Tucker, in particular, seems fixated on this anti-queer panic.
Yeah, I think that there is a subsector of adults within these organizations.
There's nothing sexualized about it, There's nothing sexualized about it, but
Drag Queen Christmas. Now, Drag Queen Christmas has been going on for 8 years, but he's complaining that, young children were there and all ages were welcome. We've got a picture from the complaint.
Excited. Hello, you reaching for my titties? Are you hungry? It's like, mommy.
Everyone's sense of it is pretty blurry. You can't totally see, but
You've probably noticed there's a lot of people worried about their safety because I identify as a 6-year-old. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter.
now, Mondaire, is this a winning issue to do this and say, look, this is a problem that 6-year-olds were there?
Trust me, the milk's gone bad. You don't want this milk. I know. I've been on tour. We've been on the tour bus. I've been unrefrigerated. Thank you so much for this donation.
I am surprised by the extent to which people describe him as formidable in a general election.
I mean, I know there's little babies here, but close your ears. This is just a tradition that all shows normally do. So raise your glasses.
He's going to have to explain why he's attacking young LGBTQ people who already experience thoughts of suicide.
Melanie, it's Stephanie. Will you wake up for our friends and practice your piano? Hi, Stephanie. I love playing piano. Thank you.
So raise your glasses. Cheers to you. Cheers to me. Cheers to the ones that lick us where we pee. Yeah!
At multiple times the rate as their cisgender heterosexual counterparts.
In my mind, I'm a girl. I was never allowed to be a little girl. So I'm filling that tank of little girl experiences.
He's included in that attack is this now attack on Story Hour, Drag Queen Story Hour?
And that is my favorite question because I get to tell them that my age is the same as them.
Why, hello. Welcome to Stephanie's Playtime.
Kids always ask me, what is your age?
Come on in and see what we found.
Come to the next Drag Story Hour because
I hope my little sockets have been good. We have an adventure for you. Come on in and see what we found.
Noticing it, they tell us, is an attack on the LGBT community. Yesterday, NBC brought on its law enforcement expert, by the way, a former assistant director of the FBI, to warn viewers that anyone who complains about the sexualization of children will be punished by the legal system, will be sued into bankruptcy and destroyed. Watch this.
Tucker Carlson, let's get it out. Let's get it out at trial. Let's expose it for what it is, name it and shame it. He's a consumer of these people, and those people should face civil consequences from the victims.
This is a 6-year-old girl, and this is a 9-year-old boy, another trans-age person whose identity must be respected, who was arrested for assaulting 2 young girls, ages 6 and 8. This is the kind of person who insists on reading young children books at Drag Queen Story Hour at the local library. Like the Houston Public Library, which admitted that a registered child sex offender was one of the drag queens who read the books to the children at their drag queen story time.
These are issues that I thought we had resolved as a nation.
Vote Senator Mack.
You know, whether we will teach Black history.
You will never see me fly an American flag, let's be clear.
Let me tell you something. Martin Luther King was about the biggest traitor to black people in modern day history. Bob Marley is considered great because the white man sold his records around the world. Right. Martin Luther King is considered great because the white man used integration
to wipe us out as a people.
Condemn anti-Asian hate crimes. Bring us up to date on that bill.
This resolution was sponsored by me and then Senator Kamala Harris in the Senate. It was a resolution that the House passed in September. It also encouraged the federal government to collect more data.
It also encouraged the federal government
to collect more data.
Whether we will acknowledge the mere existence of LGBTQ plus people.
I don't know if he is familiar with a menstruating person's body. In fact, I do know that he's not familiar with a woman, with a female or menstruating person's body.
And he's going to have real difficulty with white suburban voters who I think the Republican Party is going to need to court aggressively.
Get this, yeah.
She needs to go on their side.
What are the rules with the protest, just so we're clear on everything? I mean,
just everybody stay on their side, and so far it's been good. You know, as long as they stay there, that's fine.
Are those actual weapons that have strapped on?
They look real. It's legal to have.
It is Texas.
Yeah. The only time we've had issues today is when people migrate over to one side. So.
Well, one question, Van. Let me put this to you. Drag Queen Story Hour. It doesn't happen a lot. This is not a big thing. Okay.
The reason Biden is there is not because of a bunch of old white men. It's everyone else, right? But if everyone else is invisible in whatever's happening, positive or not, it's a problem for that core coalition that said, yeah, we're going to give you a shot. I hate to say it, but representation absolutely matters. Obviously, the vice president is a very busy woman doing a lot of work, hard things that we're never going to know about.
Why aren't we knowing about them?
That is the question, and that's back to my point about messaging. And why don't we see her? Why don't we feel her? Why doesn't she have a platform in his administration where we can tangibly feel a black woman at work?
Y'all give it up for Miss Veronica Reyes!
But to the extent that it is something that comes up, there are a lot of parents who may not be Republican or right-wing Republican or whoever who might be uncomfortable with that. Is it a smart issue to pick it? In other words, so that you as a Democrat aren't put in the position of defending why 6-year-olds should be allowed to go to drag queens?
It's cynical, and it's a kind of cynical thing that a bully does.
To make Washington work for us, not them.
It speaks poorly to his character. I don't think that the biggest threat to American children is some drag queen thing.
What in the hell has a drag queen ever done to make you have so much respect for them and admire them so much? Other than put on makeup and jump on the floor and writhe around and do sexual things on stage. I have absolutely no idea why you would want that to influence your child. Would you want a stripper or a porn star to influence your child? It makes no sense at all.
Yes, sir!
A drag queen performs in a nightclub for adults. There is a lot of filth that goes on, a lot of sexual stuff that goes on. And backstage, there's a lot of nudity, sex, and drugs. Okay? So I don't think that this is an avenue you would want your child to explore.
We got American kids going to bed hungry. You got American kids who don't know, what's going to happen to them tomorrow.
Putting their legs over the other one's shoulders and like doing a handstand, and then the one on top is holding the legs, and then like going like that, like simulating licking. And then they got like a big crayon that looks like a dick, and then they're like hugging.
Yeah, they're like licking it. Well, yeah, dude, the thing that stood out to me too that no one really commented on was like the pillow fights. That is 100% targeted towards kids. I don't care what you say. Well, that's the thing kids do is you have pillow fights.
Yeah, and so you pick on somebody.
It follows encouraging results from the largest study of its kind. It involved nearly 36,000 pregnant women and suggests the shots are safe for mother and baby.
And you take their pain and you use that for your own benefit. It's a character issue for him, and I think it's wrong.
在1号傍晚，武汉市公安局官方微博发布消息称，关于当前武汉市肺炎疫情的情况，8名散布谣言者被依法查处。
If Ron DeSantis were worried about the safety of young children in the state of Florida, in a spate of mass shootings all throughout this country.
A teacher in Virginia who was shot by a 6-year-old student earlier this month now says administrators failed to act despite multiple warnings that this little boy was armed.
Yeah, and there's obviously so much more to this story, because anytime that you have a care plan, as the family stated, where a adult, a parent is supposed to accompany this child every day, you know, there's a lot more to learn, but it's obvious that there were, appears to be multiple times when more should have been done to try to figure out if this kid actually had a gun.
Seems like this could have been preventable.
We can all agree it never should have happened.
Yes, yes. Let's start with that.
Jerika, thank you very much.
Instead, he's focused on things that are going to divide this country in the hope that it will somehow allow him to outflank Donald Trump in the Republican primary. That remains to be seen. It's plausible.
The one thing you do have to take into account is, are parents allowed to have input in their kids' education here?
It's a 2-for-1 special, baby. Pop up my top. Take a look inside down. It's my tits in a box. Tits in a box. I'm gonna get you know, teeny tiny titties. All you're getting this year are my triple double D's. I'm gonna get you a trip around the world. Got you something special, me and the girls.
Is this something that kids, this drag queen story hour, and I don't know all the details of it, are kids being basically put in front of that without parents having input, or parents being surprised at what that is? That I have a problem with. What I don't have a problem with is people doing things that they have a right and freedom to do. And I think that's what people have a choice.
To all the people out there with someone to impress. Just
And outlets like USA Today pretend that they lie and they say that's not happening when this video shows that it is. Why would they want to cover that up?
I really think it's all about the narrative game here. As you know, I've heard of something called drag phobia. That's been popping up pretty recently in my mentions. You know, and I guess if I don't really know what that means, but if drag phobia means that I am against you know, full-grown men dressed as women sexually dancing and committing lewd acts in front of minors intentionally, then, you know, you could consider me drag phobic, to say the least.
Well, and that's the difference. Therein lies the difference of actual conservatism. If I'm not comfortable with the idea of a 6-year-old being at a drag show. I love drag. I'm 33.
And really, to see someone this dedicated and this clear about his identity and this protective of his, like, black male body. He knows the body that he's in, and he respects it, and he understands from a political place and really from a personal place how much his representation matters to so many.
He always,
just beyond proud.
He always speaks out.
So let's not ban it. Let's not have the heavy hand of the state come in and make a decision for parents. This seems like conservatism 101. Let the parent opt into what they want their kids to have exposure to.
All right, well, it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously DeSantis has made it very clear, right? That is not where he stands when it comes to all of these issues. Big choice in the Republican Party. All right, thanks very much to all.
I mean, I'll let our audience come to their own conclusions about why someone would intentionally target children for this. And let me just say, if there were no kids there, we wouldn't be putting this on the air because it wouldn't be our business. But with kids there, it is, I think. Why would you be banned from telling the truth about what was going on inside, do you think?
Yeah, it's very interesting that, you know, I was almost immediately suspended after reporting on this and having it hit breaking news. You know, the reason why I would be banned is because you have fake reporters, you know, like Will Carless from USA Today, amongst many other sources that want to come out and say, you know, there are no children there. I mean, they flat out deny this, even though that these children are essentially on video being sexually groomed. I mean, there's no other way to put it, is these children are being groomed by adults.
Yeah, I would say. We're the dads here. I mean, why doesn't anyone put a stop to this? Again, just to be completely clear, doing this to kids is a crime, and it's certainly a moral crime, and I'm just amazed that people sit back and let it happen. But Taylor Hanson, thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned the dads, Tucker.
Yes, please, go ahead.
There actually is a common reoccurrence is there are no dads there 99% of the time. Is a lot of the people that bring these kids to these shows are single mothers.
Ever since we met online, I've been wanting to show you something special of mine. in the box. 3, baby, open the box. Christmas, it's in a box. Underneath the Christmas tree, it's in a box. New Year, my big kid's in a box. Yeah, it's in a box. Birthday, it's in a box. Easter, it's in a box. To your grandma's, her second kid's in a box. It's in a box. In the bathtub, it's in a box. In the surgery, it's in a box. At a funeral, my dad it's in a box. It's in a box.
The international superstar, Jimbo.
Hello, New York City! Hello, run, pop, pop! Wow. You see, and no splatter. There was no splashback, was there? Nothing. That's the beauty of no butthole. Well, I hope you enjoyed that beautiful new number. Thank you. I want you guys to make some noise for the best that Canada has to offer.